Welcome to part two of the Q&A. You guys sent in a few questions and we weren't able to record it all in one setting. It is a few. It's way more questions than I thought we would get. But yeah, we have 10-ish more questions today, so let's get started. Okay. The first one.
What's your biggest worry? Being away from parents. This is so much more specific to family. You must be a little mommy or
Only
daddy's girl or boy.
only
They're currently
child.
thinking of applying and they're saying, honestly, not sure where I want to apply. I'm still deciding and trying to figure out. That's okay. The episode that goes out today is like step by step of how I decided that I want to study overseas. So like go watch that if you're trying to figure it out and like research, do the things and yeah.
Honestly, I relate to that because I'm scared of that. But yeah, it doesn't get easier. It doesn't get easier. I'll be honest.
No,
Probably.
how would you know? Haven't even left them yet. Don't tell them that. No, guys, don't listen to her.
This is
No,
before you
don't be
move.
scared or
Before you
anxious.
move, you don't. It
They
doesn't get
know.
easier before you move. You get scared. You will feel sad, and you will miss them. That is totally human and totally normal. Just remember that, like, again, it happens because it's going to at one point. You can't live with them forever, but it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, you're gonna have so much fun. Oh my gosh, you're gonna meet people who are more fun than your parents, who relate to you more than your parents. Like, you can, no, I'm joking, but really, it's fine. You'll be fine. You have a phone, you can call them, message them. I don't want to be insensitive or anything, so you should talk more now.
um, I think, yeah, it's gonna be okay. Like, we all miss our parents. I would
What
miss my
advice would
parents.
you give? If you right now, you like in a week, you're going starting university, what are you feeling? What are you doing? Like, give advice.
Spend time with
Get
your
deep
parents before you
personal.
go. Spend as much time as you can because you're gonna have good memories before you go then. Like, you won't just be like, moving without spending time with them. And yeah, have a lot of data on your phone so you can call them anytime you like.
Yeah, I think it's a process that like you can slowly detach from them. As soon as you get there, you don't have to immediately detach. You can still call them every day, ask them whatever you need. But as time goes on, you can't be like that the entire year, like you gotta slowly start to detach, calling them every single day can like then detach to calling them every second day, calling them once a week.
The biggest worry is how to get a scholarship. They are currently thinking about applying to either Japan, Singapore, or South Korea.
Okay, so scholarships, we already touched on the NYU Abu Dhabi one. Research, again, I have a list of things that I said. Some are merit based, some are need based. So depending on your financial situation, they will give you as you need to cover the tuition. Yeah, check the websites. Email. I think emailing them makes you feel better just because you're able to give them your personal specifics and they will reply back, which makes it you'll feel better, you'll feel more calm because they already know of your situation and you already started the process. Yeah, pay attention to the deadlines and the requirements, and if you are eligible for the scholarships, um look at the different types of scholarships. Again, there are sometimes it's like only a need based scholarship, sometimes it's like, as we said in the past episodes, like last week's episode, there's international student scholarships, there's like women in STEM, there's scholarships for certain degrees, etc. So yeah, research, make sure that you reach the requirements, you are eligible. And yeah, what if I worked so hard for scholarships abroad but still don't get selected? Will all my efforts go to waste? They are thinking about applying in China and Turkey.
Okay, first of all, when you say, what if it all goes to waste? Well, how would you know if it went to waste if you never tried? Why would you not try and think, oh, it's not going to work out? But, like, what if it worked out? You know? You got to think about it in another light. Like, sure, there's always the chance of you not getting one. It's like a 50-50 always, right? but you can't not apply thinking that your efforts won't will go to waste, right? Because what if your efforts actually work out? You know, there's nothing wrong in trying, but there's always something wrong in not, and there's always that factor of regret if you don't try. But if you try and you don't get something, well, at least you tried. You at least got experiences from it that you can use for something else, you know?
Yeah, and don't go in with a bad negative mindset, because if you go into this applications, if you go into all of this with, oh my gosh, what if this all goes to waste? Then you're
Oh
not
my
gonna
god,
put your all. You're not gonna put your 100% into it.
God,
Whereas if you go in, yeah, whereas if you go in with a positive outlook or even just a neutral outlook, you're gonna put more effort into the essays, into the applications, into the recommendation letters, everything. So don't go in with a negative thought. Don't go into the, oh, what is all going to be for waste if I don't get in anyway, because you, if you are applying to one university, okay, then I understand why you might be like, oh my gosh, this will all go to waste. But apply to multiple. You need backups. Then it won't go to waste. Okay, it won't.
yeah.
Don't put yourself down. You haven't done anything yet. It says that you're only thinking about applying, which means you haven't even started applying for it. So just go for it. Do it. Again, check Borderless stories. There's so many inspirational stories about people who had the same thought process as you, and they still went out and they have full scholarships or half scholarships, or yeah. The next one is, it's a long one. Okay. Financial issues. I cannot afford very high tuition or living costs, so I am mainly looking for scholarships or very low cost options. Okay, focus on scholarships, low cost universities. Not every university is gonna cost a lot. Like, there are some reasonable ones. It might be the less recognized ones, maybe. I don't know. But there are lower cost universities, government funded programs, scholarships. Look into all of those financial aids. Like Germany, I don't think has that high tuition cost. Look all over. Really, really, really use AI to the best of your ability. Um, and if you, it doesn't say where you're planning on applying to, but like if it is the US, Borderless's new what is it called? Program. I can't remember what it's called. But like you put in your budget, you put in where you want to study, what extracurriculars you have, and it'll generate a college list that like are within your budget. So they're just like, yeah, look at lower cost universities.
Kind of linking onto the next one also, with the programs and scholarships that exist only for masters or PhD. If it's easier for you to finish your bachelor's degree in your home country, do that and then go overseas for your masters, because obviously you have a higher chance of getting scholarships for that. I know I can't afford to go out for my bachelor's, but I'm thinking of doing my masters overseas, which I think is way more of a practical thing for a lot of families. So don't feel pressured to have to go out during your first thing. Obviously, you can go out for your master's, you'll still have the same opportunities. If you're not thinking about doing a master's and you're only doing a bachelor's, then just like scour the internet and look for something or another.
Yeah. And then there's health restrictions. So if you're worried about health restrictions, check the country specific rules for that health condition or whatever. Look for universities or programs, yeah, which explicitly welcome students of any health condition. Speak to people who went there. Get a understanding of the vibe of the university experience. Yeah, I would definitely say check the country's rules, and then try and find people. Check on LinkedIn. Okay, that's a very helpful thing. Search up the alumni and speak to them.
First of all, like, I'm so sorry about your health condition. And I think it's really wrong for anyone to discriminate against people with that. So definitely try and bring it up if you can. If you can't, then obviously it's a lot harder. But considering you also are thinking about applying for a range of different countries, look for ones that are more inclusive towards whatever health condition that you have, right? And try and find like finances in those places that fit your budget. For example, okay, I'm gonna like advertise Australia again, but honestly, it is so good for international students because it is very welcoming as a country, won't discriminate you for your health issues, as well as it will provide you with so many different like scholarships and aid as an international student, even for your bachelor's degree, which I think is so helpful if you're considering going overseas. Don't get scared. There aren't that many spiders. It is spider clean and spider free, cockroach free. So don't feel afraid by things like that. Obviously, keep your options open. If you can find something that you think is really good, apply for.
The next one, same person. Complicated systems. In some countries like Germany, Russia, South Korea, Japan, and China, the admissions of visa rules are very confusing and unpredictable. Um,
For this
I
one, I'd say you need to
say,
reach out to someone who did apply
yeah,
and do.
yeah. Yeah, and you have to do it early. That way, like if you say if it is unpredictable, then you have time to work out the kinks and the bumps. Yeah, I think the best thing I would say is try and reach out to someone within the country. Admissions officers can help a lot with visas. Most of the time, the school themselves will help get your visa, and if not, ask them if they can. Especially like you said, if it's for um these kind of harder countries to get into, and if it is confusing, yo, this episode is really just a ChatGPT in Australia. Like put in literally copy and paste the rules into ChatGPT and be like, can you explain this to me? And then if you still don't understand it, be like, I don't understand this. Can you explain it to me? This part I don't get. This part, like really use ChatGPT to the best of your ability during your application process. Don't use it for any plagiarism or anything. But when you need to, when it comes to understanding the applications, whether it's for visas or scholarships or the actual university itself, asking ChatGPT to explain it to you will really help. I know I did that for the scholarships page because I was a bit confused and I wanted to be like 100% sure before I like got my hopes up or anything. So yeah, when it
Mm.
comes to those complicated systems, get help from the university itself, from AI, things that can help explain it to you better. And again, ask your parents, ask your friends. Some people, even if you don't think they might be able to help, yeah, check borderless, check the stories, and it'll kind of ease the stress of not understanding how the process works. And then
Mm.
lastly, future security. I want countries where the system is transparent, affordable, and student friendly without discrimination.
Australia. I'm
You know,
just
I think
saying.
everybody, one of you should all apply to one Australian university. But then for international students, an Australian university is so freaking
You said.
expensive.
Go for you, Sid, guys.
Expensive, expensive.
Okay, but like everything's expensive if you think about it.
Australia is more expensive.
That's true. Don't live in Sydney, guys. Go to like I don't know, Melbourne. But actually,
Future security. Speak to alumni. LinkedIn is really good. You can see where kind of the alumni of those universities, where they've ended up, what jobs they've gotten. Again, like Avani said last time, it depends on what you want to study. It depends on what job you want to get. Research, guys. Honestly, I know it's a lot of work, but that's the only way you're gonna. Unfortunately, we can't research everything for you. If I had the time, I would. Yeah, you just it is out there somewhere. You'll find the countries, look at borderless stories, look at the countries that you're interested in. Um
Reddit has a lot of stuff.
yeah, but also, yes, that's a good one. Hey, LinkedIn, Reddit, borderless. But also you need to remember if you do study in one country, that doesn't mean you have to go into and work at that country immediately. If you have a degree from a good university, apply to jobs overseas, and because like it is an international student, it is more likely that you get a job if you are an international student and you went to this better university. Then so you don't have to work in the country that you went to university. There are a lot of great job packages that offer housing and flights and all of that. So like don't worry about job security right now. Definitely do your research beforehand, but it's not the end of the world if you don't go or get a job in the country that you studied.
Will cost of living be affordable? How much money should be saved before I go abroad? I am considering studying in Italy and not sure about the cost of living of another government. Thinking about applying in Italy. That is, yeah, cost of living is definitely something you want to look into. And when it comes to Italy, the Europe part, I feel like the more main cities such as Milan, um, are gonna be slightly more. It's not even slightly, it might be a lot more expensive compared to like the other smaller cities, especially because it is also like a bit of a touristy spot, and so like just like food and everything else will be more expensive. So I would say it is good to have around like maybe 1 or 2 months of saving. And I did some research on this. The Italy student visa does allow you to work part time. So like if you were to apply and get in, and if you were decided that you wanted to go to Milan for say, then you can work part time and then like use that money also as save some, spend some on like other things. And like I said last episode, budgeting is key. So like if you are able to get a part-time job there, then I think you'll be okay.
Honestly, I don't know much about Italy itself, but typically, if you are going to somewhere that is a tourist hotspot or somewhere that is like a city or something, the prices are typically higher than if you go somewhere that isn't as, known to the wider world. Um, so you need to save up. I'd say, honestly, I'd say save up for maybe like 6 months if you can, because you don't know how easily you can get a job once you move. You've always got to be prepared. And also, if your family is able to financially support you, if you can't find a job, that's also really, really helpful. Or if you can find like financial aid or some other thing through the university that allows you to work for them, maybe that also is really, really helpful. So look for those opportunities.
Yeah, but Italy definitely, like if you're comparing it to the US and UK, it definitely is more affordable. But again, at the same time, you have to look at your budget and how much you can afford. Everyone is completely different, whether it comes to accommodation and just normal living expenses and tuition itself. So look at your budget, and you can again use ChatGPT to kind of help you set up a plan. Of get a kind of a ballpark of how much tuition you can afford, and then also you need to incorporate accommodation for that entire year, food for that entire year, and then you can research and get an idea of whether or not you'll like comfortably live.
My biggest worry about is about studying in the UK, knowing it does not offer many scholarships. How did people manage? How did people manage? How many jobs did they do? I would really love to know that. So, how do people manage studying in the UK, and how do they get jobs?
So the UK compared to the US, I'm now learning. The US apparently has like way more scholarships than I think anywhere else. But I do know, like on board, let's again, there are quite a few stories of people who are in UK universities and they have scholarships. So definitely look into that.
I know I've got friends who are applying to the UK, and that too for like law or like politics or something like that. Um, Honestly, for scholarships and finding them, I think it's really a matter of again researching to make sure you can find a scholarship that really suits something that you can achieve. Um, but if you can't, again, you've got to think about what you can do and what you can't. And if you can't go for, say, undergraduate because it's like 4 years for of typically 4 years for law, then maybe you should aim to do a master's there, which is 2 years and way less expensive if you think about it.
Get a job when you get there. The UK visa, student visa, I'm sure also allows a part-time job. And part-time jobs can be difficult, but school do offer help, right? Like for example, the school that I were looking into, they are continuously having posts where you can get jobs on campus itself, which is so much better, time-wise, transport and everything. So check within your campus, speak to the school, because a lot of the time they are more than happy to help you out, find a part-time job. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Look for scholarships and kind of financial loans and bursaries outside of the school. So if you do a bit of research, check which other foundations or, you know, have scholarships or like want to help international students. Sometimes it's very specific and it says like from this country, from this country, from this country. But there are quite a few websites, I think. I came across one or two, but I don't remember them.
Actually,
Where
relating to the UK, There is a scholarship through the Commonwealth where if you're part of the Commonwealth countries, they help you with getting into one of the Commonwealth country colleges, whether it's Australia, the UK, or something else that's affiliated with it. So you might want to look into it, see if your country is eligible for that.
Yeah. So financial support, try if you are unsure about the scholarships, email the admissions team, email student services, tell them that you're hoping to apply, or if you have already applied and you got your acceptance, then tell them that you got accepted and you are looking for a scholarship, explain your situation, and then they will give you your options. If you really can't
Mm.
find anything on the website, email it, explain the situation, and they will give you advice tailored
Mhm.
to your situation. So
And
yeah.
they actually do reply as well because I did email like two colleges in the US and they both replied to me. It takes some time, but they do eventually get back.
Low GPA and no extracurriculars. Thinking about
Okay.
applying at Harvard Medical College. Okay, you know what? You
Okay.
can take
So
this one.
firstly, I'm gonna say that if you're aiming for Harvard, then you've probably got a high GPA and like you're probably just thinking, oh, what if it's not high enough? But even if you are like if you do have a low GPA and you don't have extracurriculars, I would say still apply for Harvard because you might get it in, I don't know, by some miracle, but also have like a list of backup universities, ones that are like, in case you don't get into your first preference. Something that's also a medical college. Also, keep in mind for Harvard, if you're applying to Harvard, you have to do pre med before you actually do med, unless you have a previous medical degree from your own country. So if you are looking for undergrad for Harvard, then maybe do an undergraduate in your own country at some university that will like still get you a qualified degree that's like still strong. Get your GPA up there because that is very very possible. You can do it, and then do maybe a bunch of extracurriculars relating to medicine, health. Get your resume ready, and then you can apply to Harvard for the postgraduate program. You can go there and then you're set. There's always alternative methods. If you're still looking towards doing it in the US for medicine, then I'd say apply for other universities as well that are still really good. There's a whole bunch around the entire country, and Harvard isn't the only university, So there's always that chance of having those top universities, but also having those backup ones that you can fall onto.
You literally are very blunt, very straight, low GPA, no extracurriculars. It's good to be slightly enthusiastic, not delusional, but at the same time, when you are applying to certain places, you have to have a level of delusion if you are applying to higher um universities, if you feel like you don't necessarily like already meet the expectation, but you need to be realistic. If you do have a low GPA, no extracurriculars, and you are still thinking about applying, then start building your profile. Get your grades up, number one, and number two, gain experience in other any other kind of healthcare extracurriculars you can, whether it's volunteering somewhere or just anything that you can find. But yeah, you need to be realistic. You can't just think that you're gonna apply and you're gonna get in.
You're from India, according to the last part. So, since you are from India, I would say that I get that it's really competitive to actually get into like a good college in India for medicine. But if you are in India and you are still about to do your undergraduate, then I recommend you go to a university that offers medicine, so you at least get that degree first, and then from there you can get your postgraduate overseas with a high GPA and with extracurriculars, because my mom is actually a doctor, right? And she did both her degrees in India, but now she's working in Australia, right? So there's always that. You can always jump to a different country. It's not impossible. So if you're from India, don't stress. Like there's so many other alternatives that you can do. Also, why would you want to go straight into America? Like no offense, but why would you want to go straight into America, especially if it's like really, really soon for Harvard? Like it's not worth it right now. But if you do have time and like the current administry is out of office, then you have time to build your GPA, get it up, build your resume, because it's like what, 2028 or something that Trump actually leaves. So just like think about it like that, you know.
Listen to Vani. Harvard is her dream school. I'm sure she knows way more about it than I do.
The biggest worry is the application process. They are thinking about applying and into biomedical sciences. Biomedical sciences, my cousin did that actually. And with the application process, yeah, application process, she told me that it wasn't as like, okay, there was a lot of parts to it, but she said that applying into it was like, once you get through it, it's like an easy sale, and you can always contact the college admissions, always get in touch with them, ask them about the processes on how to do stuff. And overall, she had to do, I think, 3 or 4 personal essays, and then it was just submitting documents which her like professors gave to her. So
For the biomedical science, I don't have much to add to that, but the application process itself, we did do an episode before last week. Yeah, watch that episode. Application processes, when it's specifically biomedical, can't say I have nothing to say. But just start early. Try and figure out all the steps before you actually start applying. Just be prepared.
also check on Borderless for biomedical sciences. Just search it up, and in every single like article, there is a section that mentions the application process. And if you find it straight for biomedical sciences, and you find, say, the university you want or the country you want, you're done. Like you've got your answers there.
Finance slash money problems. Thinking about applying in the UK. Okay, the UK can be very, very pricey. Tuition, just cost of living itself. Again, it depends now where in the UK you are planning to apply to. Food, travel, it all adds up very, very fast. And now, new information to me, apparently scholarships are not that easy to get.
As we've been saying, like save up, find a job if you can, be prepared for the finances by like working before you actually go, save up that money there. Don't spend it on stuff you don't need to. Learn how to budget better. And if you don't think you can afford it, then don't take the risk and just like go when you actually can.
Yeah. I think if you plan really well beforehand and you literally, when I say plan, I mean like just imagine you're there and save the money that you need for month one, month two, month three. Wait, did it say thinking of applying? Yeah, it says thinking of applying, which means that you have time, which means you haven't even applied yet. Uh, but I feel like there are other ways that you can kind of work your way around it if you can't. I don't know how expensive dorms are compared to like normal apartments, but they are normally like sharing houses you can check on, which can be cheaper than dorms. There are quite a few ways I think that you can work your way around it.
Yeah, I know
Like,
that a lot of like people that I talk to, and in general, if you go for a dorm, it is more expensive than if you share a place. And if you share a place, it's like what, maybe a little bit more than the dorms. Like in total, the
yeah,
rent would be, but it's split between 2 people, meaning you have
yeah,
to pay less overall. So maybe think about that. Just think about ways you can like save in those ways as well.
yeah. But the UK
Mm.
is good in the sense that like public transport seems really well. There are some things like food, some food in some places as well. If you find like a good spot, it will be cheaper than other places. But
Mm.
I have interviewed quite a few people who now moved to the UK
Hmm.
for the borderless stories. So check that out. It is gonna be a savior. For the application process, like moving to that specific country, it really just gives you a whole rounded idea of it. As long as you
Mm.
are prepared financially, you'll be okay. And again, try and get a job,
Yeah.
budget, save. The best thing to say also, if you already have a university in mind, look it up on Instagram and try and find like student run accounts. That way,
Or on
if you
LinkedIn,
can,
put the university name on LinkedIn,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you can
yeah, yeah.
find actual students affiliated with it, connect with them, and then talk to them through that.
Yeah. Yeah, talk to them about how they handle it, and then you can get ideas from them and you'll get a better idea of if you're able to afford it.
Mhm.
Again, it is depending on what your budget is. So yeah, just draft a plan.
Next question. Is the application fee ever waived or refunded to students applying only through a full scholarship route? They are thinking about applying.
For application fee, some universities do offer a waiver. They if you can provide financial difficulty, or if you do get a scholarship, you can email them and ask them about it. Tell them that you got the scholarship, blah blah, and if it's possible to refund the application fee. I actually applied to one university where the website said that it had an application fee, but then when I applied, it didn't ask for any banking details, so I just submitted my application, and then like it went through. So I don't know if that's just like a glitch in the system, or no, I don't think so, or it means something else. I'm still honestly confused about it. But if you are able to apply and you get to like the last page of like submit, and it doesn't have like banking details or anything like that, then just submit it and keep checking your email. I'm sure possibly it would have went through.
How do I pay for it and not having enough stats slash extracurriculars?
Okay, you're gonna have to pay for something. It is very rare unless you're like an extremely gifted, very well-rounded, been doing stuff since you were like 9 years old, young Sheldon type of thing. Um, it's very unlikely you're gonna get someone to pay for your tuition, your flights, your accommodation, your food, everything. There are ways to kind of you can get like you can try and get a scholarship. Sometimes you can apply for 100% scholarship depending on what the scholarship options are. 50%, 75, the different percentages. You can apply for a scholarship, and then you can try and seek help from other organizations for the other things. That is a possibility. Sometimes you just have to do research. I don't really have much on that. No ECAs and stuff. If you're thinking of applying, then get those up. Start planning right now. Join clubs, do things that connect to your degree.
They are applying to NYU New York or NYU Shanghai. Okay, specific to NYU, um, typically their entrance marks that they like require are kind of lower than say other universities in America. It is still a very good university, but unlike Ivy League, they don't require you to have almost perfect marks. Yeah. And with your extracurriculars, again, there's only a handful of extracurriculars that exist in this world, right? They don't expect you to be able to build a rocket to NASA, right? Obviously, that's very impressive. You could probably get into Ivy League with that. But if you think it's not good enough, like if it relates to the degree that you want, then it should be good enough because that shows your interest and passion towards what you want to study. And that is what they look towards, right? I interviewed someone who did go to who is going to NYU, and they actually focus mainly on their passion, and that's what they got their like acceptance into. And their results, like their marks, weren't like they were like normal, they weren't like extraordinary, like 100% on every single test. They were what you would expect from an average student. It's like what I would get or what someone else would get, but like it still got them into a very good degree that they enjoy into NYU, which I think is the main important part. As long as your grades aren't like tanking, and as long as your extracurriculars aren't the most random things that don't even add up to your degree, they should be good enough.
NYU again, yeah, like Vani said, is not that competitive, but they do have need-based scholarships. So if you fill up the CSS profile on the website, if you go to scholarships and you fill that profile out, they will offer you a scholarship if you have the grades, and you have the application for it. Then they will most likely provide a scholarship. I've heard the NYU Abu Dhabi is much more generous with their
Mhm.
scholarships, so you might get more out of there. But you just said
NYU in New York or
NYU New
Shanghai.
York or Shanghai. So I'm not 100% sure about those, but it is again just NYU. So if you are
Mm.
struggling financially and you have the grades and you have the passion, like Avani said, if your stats, if your grades are not the best and you put all the effort into like your personal statement, like your personal story. If you write a really good essay and you show that you have passion and you're able to really present yourself through the application,
Mm,
then it is a good chance that you will get a decent scholarship for the need-based scholarship. So just try
mm.
your best, exactly like Avani said. If you don't have the best grades, just show your passion, because US universities love that. Not being able to find a part-time job while studying, or coming back home after getting my degree and not finding work. Thinking about applying a bachelor's of accounting and finance. Okay. So this is good question, because in a few questions already we've answered just get a part-time job. That is a valid worry, and honestly, for getting a part-time job at university itself, a lot of the universities, they will help you out. Like I said, even before you go, if you're worried that when you get there you're not going to have one, email the university once you got the acceptance letter, and ask them about part-time jobs. They'll have more information. Obviously, they've been living in that country for longer, on how it works with students, whether or not there are part-time jobs on campus.
In terms of not finding a part-time job while studying, a lot of universities have programs where you can work for the university, especially if it's in the US, which I think is totally worth looking for. I'm sure it applies to so many other universities all over the world as well. Just do some researching there. In terms of coming back home and not finding work, okay, I'm gonna be so real. If you think that the degree you want to get isn't going to land you a job, don't get that degree, or at least have some other backup so that you're not going to end up with no job at all, because no one wants that, right? Or if you need to do a master's, be prepared to do a master's so you can get that job, because some jobs actually require you to do a master's so you can be shown as, amazing in terms of that. You said you wanted to do a bachelor's of accounting and finance. I honestly don't know how the job prospects are, but research, find out how it's going to be in the next, like, I don't know, maybe 6 years or something like that, right? And find out if you're going to have the opportunity to find work in whatever country you want to with that degree. And find out if that country requires you to have a master's degree so you can work in that particular field. If you don't do that, then it's going to be so difficult. So you need to be like researching as much as you can before you push yourself into anything there.
Yeah, and towards the end of your studies, like how if you would speak to the school about trying getting a job while studying, speak to them about career options. Throughout like the entirety of your degree, even check career fairs, LinkedIn. While you're busy doing your degree, try and get experience within the field that you're learning. Right? Say you're I'm gonna use me as an example. Say you're studying psychology, right, and you're hoping to graduate and get a job immediately. Try and get experience while you're studying, whether it's internships, whether it's just other little ways of getting firsthand experience and like actually working. Then when you graduate and you apply for jobs, the experience really helps. Like really, you have the degree, yes, but then it shows, okay, this person can actually do it.
In terms of accounting and finances, it's actually pretty easy if you can find yourself like a proper like firm that does accounting and works with finances. Like if you can find yourself an internship with them, even if you go through your university, which I'm sure it probably has contacts through there, it shows that you're passionate and it shows that you have experience before you actually start working, meaning you already stand out from the other applicants that are doing it as well. And honestly, I think it's a really valid fear to have, not being able to find work after you study for so long and you put so much effort and money and time into it. So I've actually seen a lot of people go through that. So I definitely say search for career prospects in the next few years after you finish your degree, because that's all you can really do.
Just throughout your degree, make connections, meet people, network,
Go to networking
start
events as well.
internships. Yeah. And then once you graduate, if you could even get a job secure before you graduate if you are networking well, if you're
Mm.
going to events, so that surround
I
your
know I'm
degree, your
already
passion.
networking for like my future, right? I'm way off until
Yeah.
I actually have to work, but I'm already networking to establish those connections so they know me from a young age. So they know me that I'm actually passionate in the field. And when I actually go up to that position, they'll be like, oh, yeah, I know her. She's actually very passionate. She's actually good at what she does. And they'll let me in, you know?
Yeah, the personal connection is very important. It's gonna help you stand out compared to everyone else because they know you, they've spoken to you. So if you're
Yeah.
doing this, like not even just a year, like just when you start your degree, whatever opportunities that you get to network, to meet people, to again get hands-on experience, do it.
Mm.
That way, when you're done with your degree, very high chance that you have a job lined up already. The last one is homesick. Thinking of applying. Yeah.
Mm. Honestly, I think that's something we have covered a little bit in one of our other videos, but
Yeah.
it's
And
also such a real fear.
it's something
Yeah.
you're gonna feel anywhere and everything unless you decide to
Mm.
stay in your little town for your entire life. But yeah, it's gonna be hard, especially the first few weeks. It's really gonna be
Probably longer
difficult.
than just a week, like a few weeks. I feel like you aren't ever able to fully move on from your home. And I think that's
Yeah.
okay. You
Yeah,
learn
you
how
don't
to
need
do that
to.
better.
You
Yeah.
don't have to move on. You're gonna go home. It's gonna be a home all the time. You can travel back, see your family, holidays, everything. But at the same time, you're gonna be distracted. You're gonna be
Yeah.
working, like studying,
Put yourself into
exams,
positions,
friends.
you know? Yeah, get yourself
Yeah,
involved with extracurriculars, get friends
clubs.
that are going to distract you from, you know, thinking about what you miss and
Yeah,
enjoy what you have because you're learning something new. You're in a new situation.
yeah. As long as you can make your own community, as long as you can, create a new life in the new place, you're still gonna miss home, but not as much. You're gonna be grateful for the place that you're at, and it's gonna
Mm,
be fun. Honestly, it's more like a bittersweet homesick feeling if you're able to like really get out there and like enjoy the
mm,
experience of being an international student. Then
mm-hmm.
it's more of a better feeling where I love home, but I don't really want to go back. I definitely have that, and we've spoken about this in like past episodes. So
Mm,
yeah, don't be too worried about the homesickness. You'll have such a great time overseas, and you'll create such a more fun and vibrant life with people who you choose to be your new family. So yeah, that is all the questions that we have. Yeah, that was very good. I hope this helped a little bit. If the I really should have made questions more specific, but would have been better for us to respond on. But it was okay. We appreciate all the questions, and I hope this helped. And yeah,
yeah. If you've got more questions, obviously just like comment or something and we will look at that.
yeah. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week. Bye bye.